Since 1975, Hurricane, Utah has been providing power to its citizens operating as a public city-owned power company. Hurricane currently serves over 8,700 customers within the city limits.
So probably the biggest thing is that the citizens have a say. The residents of the city have a say, through their elected officials. They have a say, have control over the power company. And of course, finances too is a huge one.
Like Santa Clara, Hurricane uses a natural gas plant utilizing 5 generators. However, the city power company also has 3 diesel-powered generators as a backup.
Right here behind me we have 3 diesel generators. They produce about 1.45 megawatts of power using diesel fuel. So they don't run that much. Diesel fuel is expensive, and they're really, for the most part at this point, they're just kind of emergency.
Due to its backup operation and less downtime, Hurricane has currently earned a reliable public power provider designation.
Pre-maintenance, finding the problems before they happen. And into that calculation also comes just the quick response too. So when there is an outage, you get right on it and you get people back in power as quickly as possible, because you can't avoid all of the outages. You're going to have outages.
Hurricane is also a member of Utah Associated Municipal Power System, where they can purchase power at a wholesale rate from various sources. Hugh says they watch the daily costs to determine if it's cost effective to run their backup supply generators, especially during peak seasons.
We're trying to cover our base loads, which means the power that we know we're always going to use. And then when we use more than that, then we have to compensate in one way or another. One way that we compensate is with generators. Another is that we have to go to the power market and buy off the power market. And so we really get affected a lot, especially in summer times, because we don't buy really high base load, because there's times during the year, especially the fall and the spring, when loads are really low. And if we bought big blocks of power, then we would have leftover, we'd have excess and we'd have to sell it. And usually you're going to lose money if you buy it from a source and then you have to sell it back again. A lot of times you'll lose money.
While Santa Clara has a PCA, or power cost agreement, to help offset higher purchase costs, Hurricane voted against this move.
Essentially, the choice that they made as a power board, or the recommendation that they made, is that we don't do a PCA. And the idea is that we don't pass that cost on to our residents, or that risk, you could say.
However, Hugh said with the increasing prices and the push to go green, the city may have to consider a PCA in the future.
We're looking at that. We're facing that in the face, because it's been a bad couple of years, and especially this last year was really bad. So we're looking that right in the face, and hopefully we're going to be okay, but we're going to monitor it closely. Of course, we've done a couple of rate increases, because even though you have reserves, they can disappear really fast.
Right now, about 35% of the electric power in the West is generated by natural gas, which really affects the overall price to produce energy.
We used to buy natural gas for $2 a decatherm. This last winter, we were paying, $17, $18, even up to $50 a decatherm. So natural gas prices have skyrocketed, and that's caused by supply and demand as well.
That's why UAMPS is looking for other alternative energies. The Carbon Free Project will license, construct, and operate a first-of-a-kind 6-module nuclear power plant in the desert west of Idaho Falls. The Carbon Free Power Project is hoping to have this new nuclear plant available to all its customers for a more stable source of energy by the year 2030.
With solar and wind is great, but you can't rely on it. So we need something that's stable and that's dispatchable. They can ramp that nuclear plant up and down depending on the need.
Solar, wind, geothermal is important. We're going to tap into geothermal. There's more of that coming. Those are all important, and they all help, and they all make a difference. But as far as base load that's dispatchable, you have it when you need it. You've got to have some kind of a source that's going to just produce it, and nuclear will do it.
5 cities in Washington County have already signed a power scale contract committing to this energy project. Hall says Santa Clara is still looking locally to make solar power more affordable to more of their consumers.
We're currently looking at redoing our solar policy so it makes it a little more user-friendly. So homes in Santa Clara can add solar, and it doesn't affect them as much.
And with the populations continuing to grow, Hurricane and other cities are passing on new installations to developers and new users.
And so if you're building a new home, you have to pay your impact fees, and that money will go towards new infrastructure. And then the developer, when he's putting in his subdivision, he's got to pay the cost of getting the infrastructure to his development. And so the cable that you saw rolling in here, all of this conduit that you see around, that's going to be paid for by the developers.
And both recommend consumers make every effort possible to save on electricity, especially during the peak summer months.
Making your home more efficient helps with better windows, better insulation. The time of day you use electricity, if you have electric cars, plug them in at between 5 and 9 o'clock is not a good idea. If you can charge them after you go to bed, I mean, when the demand is down, that helps us.
We've got some big challenges. I mean, these last couple of years have been really crazy with the market, and we all know that politics plays into these markets, and they have. So it's important to be involved and vote and have a say when you have a chance.
Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.